Welcome to Brain Vision.
Let's use the chain rule to find these partial derivatives. So first, let's write this out. So dz over ds. Well, we see that z depends on r and theta. And then we see that r and theta both depend on s and t. So this will help us write out the formula for the chain rule. So the first thing to do is to take the partial derivative of z with respect to r, then multiply that by the derivative of r with respect to s. That's basically going along this path down here. And then we could also go in the other direction. So we'll do dz d theta. And then d theta ds. So this is our first partial derivative here. So let's go ahead and start evaluating some of these derivatives. So dz over dr, that's just z again. So that's just er cosine theta. dz, I won't go in order here. So let's see, dz over d theta, that's just negative er sine theta. So then next up we have dr over ds. That's just t. And then here we'll have to go ahead and use the power rule with the chain rule for the last derivative. So we'll have a 1 over 2 times the radical. But then the chain rule requires that we multiply by the derivative of inside the radical and then cancel those 2's. And now we could plug this into our expression on the top right. dz dr, dr ds, dz d theta. So let me go ahead and put that negative sign in. The negative comes from over here. Er sign. So this kind of looks like an equal sign. So let me go back and fix that. Minus, and then d theta over ds. So this is one of our answers here. After simplifying, we get that expression on the right. Similarly, we'll have dz over dt. This time we'll go along these paths here. So dz dr, then dr dt. And then we'll also have this path, dz d theta, and then d theta dt. So we'll have two derivatives here that we'll have to evaluate. So dr dt, these are the two new derivatives, excuse me. dr over dt, that's just s. And d theta over dt, it will be very similar to the calculation we did down here. And you can see that using the power rule with the chain rule again and simplifying, you'll get the same expression, but this time with a t on the top. So, and the other derivatives, we've already computed those over here. So we can go ahead and just plug everything on in. So dz dr, that's your er cosine theta. dr dt, that's s. dz d theta, that's this negative er term over here. So let's just bring that negative over. And then our last term is over here. So there we are. That's our other partial derivative. That should be a R right there on top of the E. And that's our final answer.